Welcome to the Chiropractic and Legal Injury Podcast, recorded live at our events. We're here bringing you the expertise, insights, and tools you need to navigate the world of personal injury care and to uncover what you didn't know about car accidents. It's no accident you're listening today, so let's get started. Welcome back to the Chiropractic and Legal Injury Podcast. We are going live here from our holiday seminar. And we have Dr. Crifasi here. I am so excited you are here talking to me right now.
I'm ecstatic to be here, so thank you very much.
Let's get to know you. What's your name, which we just said, your expertise, where do you practice, and why do you love doing what you do?
Well, my name is Dr. Janine Crifasi, and I practice at Arizona Chiropractic Neurology Center in Chandler, Arizona. And we are a functional neurology-based practice. So we're chiropractors by our original designation. And then we've gone and we've studied extensively about how to do functional applications, therapeutic applications to help people with a variety of neurological conditions, including TBIs. And we also are able to draw blood labs on people because, as you know, sometimes accidents can trigger latent autoimmune conditions and things of that sort. So we're able to do that, and then we can give people supplementation as well. Our office has a lot of digitized equipment, which gives objectifiable measures, which of course, you know, that is high on any attorney's list.
Absolutely.
You know, patient satisfaction is good. And we always, strive to meet the patients because that's their primary goal. Because as you know, many of them end up losing work or money. There's so much that's associated with that. So we have the ability to help them from a variety of different angles. And although we don't prescribe medication, we are able to collaborate with a lot of different practitioners. So we know where our lane is, and we love working with other practitioners. Larry Lazzara has so many in his resources, and that's one of the things that I really, really appreciate about working with him.
Yeah, that's amazing. And why do you do this work?
Well, there's a few reasons. The work that I do is predominantly either personally or familial based.
Okay.
My family, I've had more car accidents than I'd even like to mention. And I will say most of them weren't even my fault. And I had a lot of rear end collisions. And, occasionally, I would make other impacts, and of course, other people around me.
Yeah.
I had a cousin who was the fourth ever person diagnosed with Lyme disease. I watched it decimate her nervous system. We all know that, neurodegenerative conditions, I've got some stats I brought with me. 40% of the global population has some type of neurological condition. Did you realize that?
40%?
40%.
Wow.
Yep. And then 2.8 million people annually are diagnosed with TBIs. Now, there's a tremendous amount beyond that, because we all know people are like, oh, I've got to shake it off. Oh, I don't want to lose my job. I can't. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Or the coach won't put me back in, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But TBI isn't just about, impact directly to the brain. It's also anything that breaches that blood-brain barrier, like Lyme, like unresolved viral loads and things of that sort.
Yeah.
So, and, dementia, 1 in 3 people get dementia or expect to die from dementia.
Wow, 1 in 3?
1 in 3, that's the most recent statistics.
Wow.
And then, if it's not Alzheimer's, it's some other form. And when you have a traumatic brain injury that doesn't resolve, what ends up happening then is the body tries to protect itself.
Yeah.
And it puts down these plaques in the brain, and that can cause misfiring in itself. And if something happens where that breach allows viral loads to stay within the other side of the brain and not on the exterior, and it's not resolved, there's a lot of links in research that are showing patients can have premature transneural degeneration, like Parkinson's, which Parkinson's has, let me double, because I want to make sure I'm accurate in all that I do, because you know how I am. That has doubled in the last 25 years.
Wow.
So, as a matter of fact, we all have patients that come in, thinking they have just a back pain or a neck pain, and we oftentimes find the symptom is secondary to an underlying neurological condition. And as an athlete, I was hurt a lot. I played hard, and I got hurt significantly. But I also had changes in my spine from very early traumatic injuries. I was a surviving twin. I had fallen off the changing table as a baby.
Oh, no.
I tumbled down the stairs following dad. So I ended up with scoliosis. Now, had we known, perhaps I wouldn't have had to have back surgeries, one which led to the other. I want to give people that opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, car accidents, I was very fortunate that Dr. Dan Murphy was one of my educators at Life Chiropractic College West, and I took his advanced certification course. And it's a lot of the information that I got from that really preempted me. As you know, I believe the current statistic is, you guys would know this better, but every American is expected to be in a car accident once every 10 years. We've got to protect ourselves from that.
Yeah.
So, people tend to just sort of slough off injuries. Doctor doesn't mean omnipotent one. It means teacher. Yeah. And that's very important to myself and Dr. Barry, whom I work with. Yeah. We want to make sure that people understand there's resources available. And he and I have spent thousands of postgraduate hours to better understand how the neurological system and the therapeutic applications and sensory motor integration therapies, low-level lasers that we can apply to the brain without causing damage and only allowing the cells to heal and to actually help the expression of somebody, completely. Not just, oh, great, your neck pain's better, but set them up for the ability to reduce risk of further injuries, further neurodegeneration, and to live a better quality of life. That's what my objective is, it sounds cliche, but who wants to live a long time if your quality of life is poor?
Yeah.
We all want to live a robust life.
Yeah.
We want to be able to, to share experiences. And, when you're injured, you can't.
Yeah.
And, taking that edge off of somebody is really important.
Yeah.
Is allowing them to have comfort in what we do, and for us to understand what's going on with them and get to the source of the problem. We have a lot of digitized equipment that helps us to, again, quantify what's going on with somebody.
Yeah.
So we can explain it to them. Like I tease them. I'm like, you just don't say, I want that red car. You start to research, what kind of car was that red car? What features does it have? That's what gets you excited.
Yeah.
So when you understand, and a patient understands better what's happening with them, why it's important for them to do a home-based exercise program, or to make sure they make their appointments and not, disregard them as a fluff, then, that's going to help them to not only improve their healing, but it is also going to help them to share, so that people don't end up having degeneration in their spine, like arthritis, or like I said, some of the brain-based injuries that we've talked about. But to allow them to work sooner, longer, more effective, and share that with the upcoming generation. The current populace right now, these numbers are crazy. That 1 in 3 people have Alzheimer's. 2.8 million people having TBIs. Those are extraordinary numbers. And, everybody thinks concussions, trauma, injuries. Absolutely, 100%. And car accidents do create that. Car accidents are also capable of, again, provoking, autoimmune conditions. I had one patient back east that didn't think it was important to tell me some of her family history. We had treated her. We began treating her 4 months after she had the injury. Her gait was off, which is not too uncommon. But she had great results within a very short period of time, chose to go out to the Cape and spent her summer there. And then she called me up. She's like, I've got to get back in. And her gait was atrocious. Well, through some of the labs we were able to do, we were able to find out that she had a breach of the blood-brain barrier and had inherited the genetic predisposition that her mother had. So she ended up expressing symptoms of multiple sclerosis. That happened because of she happened to have had a quadruple axial rollover almost a year to the day after her son perished in a car accident. So there was a lot of limbic activity that was going on. There was a lot of emotion behind it. I'm glad to say she's doing well now, at least as of last I'd heard. But, we just don't know. It's not always about, the musculoskeletal injury. We have the absolute ability to look at that and to discern, some patients, that is all that it is. We like to give them that opportunity if we see something to let them know, hey, there's something a little bit a little bit more that's going on.
Yeah.
And even though we do functional neurology, we like to work with medical neurologists and to get another set of eyes on everything. That stigma of, chiropractors don't work with medical doctors. That's old school and unfortunate if anybody continues to do that.
Yeah.
So, we don't care to be in that model, Dr. Barry and I. We want people to have a great experience with us, and we do a lot of work with them, and it's the same with you guys. We're in a very close communication with our patients. We try to get them in and get them out. Our patients don't tend to have very extensive treatment plans. They're not coming to us oftentimes very long because we're getting to that root of the problem. We try to make it extremely fun because we love to have a good time in our office.
Yes.
Your team makes that so much easier for us as well. I appreciate this about you, about Larry. I can text nearly any time of day or night. I can leave a message, and if it's not one of you getting back to me, there's somebody that's like, hey, we're going to get Larry to get back to you. It's important to have that open line of communication. Absolutely. And to make sure that the patients know that we're in communication, with their attorney. Yeah. And that's what makes working with you guys a pleasure.
Yeah, and it gives them such a sense of ease. You said so many great things that I want to touch on, and hopefully I remember all of them, but the statistics are mind-blowing. And I think I saw a statistic from a couple years ago about in Arizona alone, there's 300 accidents a day.
Yes.
Which is just astronomical, and especially as somebody who drives very far and has a family. I have a young son. That's a crazy statistic to think about, every single day. So it's very, very important to make sure that you guys are taken care of and having that sense of ease that you were talking about when taking care of. Because I want to get back to playing with my family and back to,
well, and
being
peace
a
of
mom.
mind. And that's what we hope to give patients when they come in. They may not like what we have to say because it may not be the discussion that they want to have.
Yeah.
But we're going to tell them the truth, and we're going to use, information and data that's appropriate for them to best understand what they can do to help themselves, what we can do to help them, and then what the trajectory is so that they can, recover from their injuries and they can, again, live, an amazing life. That's what I want. I don't want patients to suffer like some of the other patients that, we've had. And, we've been very fortunate. We get a lot of complex cases. We get a lot of referrals from other practices.
Yeah.
We have patients that, even come in wheelchairs. And sometimes, it's very exciting when we get the team together and we're able to get them sometimes standing or at least giving them hope.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever been in a car accident, it takes an emotional toll on people. It really does. And, sometimes it's the not knowing, and to be able to give them reassurance.
Yeah.
I've had cases where, they've had other attorneys and, we get to talking and, I share what I've learned from Larry and he'll call me for some, questions that he might have about my case or other cases. And, again, that's something that I appreciate about you guys is, hey, I have this other patient who came in with a different attorney. And you guys are always forthcoming with information, and I appreciate that. And, in a couple of cases, thankfully, you guys took the case over to be able to better manage that, because it's not just the injuries, it's the overwhelm that happens, that people just can't seem to get past. And if you don't have trust in your practitioner, no matter what it is, it's time for a new practitioner. You've got to have faith in who you're going to trust your health. And I always had a mantra, your quality of life is directly related to your quality of health. Because without one, you cannot have the other. So as long as, you've got a great team, and that's why I appreciate you guys. That's why I'm at every seminar and having a good time and making good friends in the meantime.
And you are an incredible human being just in general. And
everything that you're saying is so true about, having that reassurance, and the quantifiable data that you were talking about is also validation, because sometimes, you think something's not really quite right, but you can't put your finger on it, and people tell you that you're okay, but in reality, you're really not okay. I don't feel like my old self, and having that data to say, okay, yeah, there is something going on, and it is from the accident is really, like justification.
Right. Well, and when patients say, oh, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It may or it may not be. And that's what I tell them. I want to know the silliest thing. If you have something that doesn't taste right on your tongue, I want to know it. If you get a quick little twinge in your ear, I want to know it. I don't want my patients perseverating on their symptoms. But what I like to do on that very first day, it's a fact-finding mission.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, it's like we do CSI of your brain-body connection. And give me all your data. Let me put the puzzle piece together, and then we're going to work on it together. And so, I enjoy that. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Golden rule.
Yeah.
Golden rule is how I do it.
Oh, yeah. And, we've had a lot of really great conversations and great networking and everything like that. And it's just been amazing to get to know you. And I have been to your office. You have some cutting edge just tools at your disposal there. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about?
Certainly. Well, we have, when we adjust people, for the most part, we usually use a precise adjusting instrument. So that takes away a lot of the risk factors and concerns that patients have about being adjusted, especially after an injury. So first of all, there's that. It's an FDA-approved instrument, and it shows about 23 to 25% faster results in adjusting, because you're reducing the risks of, I move wrong, they move wrong, I have an injury, they move in an inappropriate position for that movement. We do very limited, osseous adjustment only when it's appropriate, and if it's a coupled motion for the neurological condition. More importantly than what even to adjust, we also know what not to adjust. And there's a time and a place for everything. And chiropractic isn't always everything all the time. So we have sensory neurointegration, that those are, we call them games in the office, but they're tactile skills with auditory and visual stimuli. Again, set and gauge particularly for each patient. We have a balance tracking system, which we assess the information on, but that we can also incrementally help people to work with. We have an HBOT unit, and in the course of this coming year, we're going to be getting a QEEG and neurofeedback.
Wow.
Because, again, everything we do is science-based. Chiropractic is an art, a science, and a philosophy, but Dr. Berry and I are both very data-driven, and that's what we're looking for, is we want to get patients the best results, the quickest that we can without any residuals. And we just want to be available for people.
That's amazing. Okay, I think I have time for one last question.
Okay.
What is one piece of advice you wish every accident patient knew?
I would say that they need to get checked regardless. Immediately. Oh, absolutely. Immediately. Because getting that snapshot in time of where you are as soon after the accident as possible is important. Your family will be contacted. You can contact them on the way. If you choose not to go directly from the scene someplace, get seen within the first 24 hours because things can change and we don't always know. Our brain has an amazing ability to shut things off, compartmentalize, and pain is one of the things that we can modulate until we're absolutely incapable of doing so. So go and get checked by a qualified professional. And again, if in doubt or something doesn't seem right, keep finding the professional. And that people are always welcome to call our office. I'm giving, during the course of the first 6 months of this year, a 15-minute complimentary consultation with me.
Okay.
So if people have any questions, they can just go ahead and talk with me, bounce it off. And we'll send you in the right direction. Whether or not you choose to come to us, we want to be a resource.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank
it's
you.
always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to the January conference. We'll see you there.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see the panel.
It's going to be
that is such an amazing
phenomenal
angle to take on this. We all go to seminars and just sit there and listen, and yours, of course, are very interactive. And Larry's outfits. Let me just say, Larry's outfits.
Yes.
But no, I'm really looking forward to that, because to get the perspective, and for other people, and I've personally invited, non-chiropractors to understand that there is a huge collaboration that occurs, and that community, that sense of community is amazing. Just as a doctor who, frankly, a lot of us were talking in the hallway when we went to school, it was, ooh, don't talk to that one, don't talk to PTs, neurology doctors, no. I mean, right now there's 4,000 neurologists, and there's only 6 in the world, and 600 functional neurologists.
Wow.
600 functional neurologists, seriously. So if there's only 4,600 of us that are actively pursuing this huge majority that needs our care, we need a lot more interaction with a lot of associative healthcare practitioners.
Well, thank you again, and we will see you in January.
Thank you. I can't wait.
From all of us at the Lazzara Law Firm and the Chiropractic and Legal Injury Conference, thank you for listening. We hope you never need us, but if you or someone you love does, know they'll have a team dedicated to helping them rebuild, recover, and reconnect with what matters most, their loved ones and the life they deserve. This is the Chiropractic and Legal Injury Podcast, where knowledge is power and collaboration transforms care. If today's episode opened your eyes, share this podcast with your network and help spread the word about the realities of personal injury care. Follow us on social media to keep learning and connecting with this incredible community.